Good evening and welcome to the shed. As you can tell, it looks like there's a proper party going on here at the moment. I've got my light flashing away in the background, my disco light, and I've got my fairy lights up, as you can see. But it is Christmas, so you know, what the feck? Like, let's go for it, right? But anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video because I started a project today, a cover design for a new author that I'm working with, yeah, like it's in concept stage at the moment. Just kicked it off today, and so far so good. Thing is, like, when you get cracking on a new project, quite often it can take a while to get the ball rolling with a concept, I've always found. And yeah, you know, you can spend hours researching and stuff like that and going down rabbit holes, which is great. You know, you need to do your research, it's all good. But I just wanted to do this video just to give you a quick breakdown, like a no fluff guide to getting going with the design process, like ASAP. You know, so this is really literally from scratch. I'd love to show you where I've got to at the moment with this cover and what's been achieved, or what can be achieved in a day. But obviously the book's not out there yet, the cover hasn't been revealed. You know, that's for the author to do, so I wouldn't want to break protocol, you know, and start showing off my artwork for his cover before he's even showed it to his readers, you know. So that's a no-no. So I can't, unfortunately, at the moment, I can't share the cover with you, but that's just how it goes. But what I wanted to do was share my process, because while it's fresh in my mind, and having done this today and really got into it quite quickly, I wanted to share this process with you. And like I say, just to get you up and running. Again, this is just concept stage. This isn't me talking about finishing a cover in a day or anything like that. We're just at the concept stage. Although, to be fair, it has moved pretty quick, and he's very happy. And we'll see where it goes once I get feedback, etc. We'll see if there's much to be done. But anyway, I've made some notes because I want to make sure I've covered everything out here for you. Number one, study the questionnaire. If you've sent out a questionnaire to your author client and they filled that out as best they can, really look at that questionnaire, look at the answers. I've got a 25-ish questionnaire that goes out to the authors, and it asks them about their genre, what exactly do they want on the cover, is there a tagline, this, that and the other. So and things to avoid as well. Are there any colours they want me to avoid on the cover, this kind of thing. So really important that you study that questionnaire. Don't skim over it. You know, you can miss details, right? Don't do that. Read it twice, 3 times if you have to. You know, I mean, it could come down to simple things like spelling their name right, yeah? Number 2, mood board. Get a mood board together. Look at Pinterest. Start to gather images of covers that are in your author's genre. And one of my questions in the questionnaire that goes out is you know, what other authors are in your genre that you like? Do you like their covers? Who do you read? Who sits within your genre or subgenre? So start looking at their covers. Hopefully they're recent versions. You know, we're not maybe going back sort of 10 years or even 5 years. You know, you want the most up-to-date covers that are in your author's genre. Hopefully those authors that you're looking at as well, they'll be best-selling authors, you know. For instance, the author that I'm working with now on this particular cover, he was telling me there's you know, Lee Child, the Jack Reacher novels, Ted Dekker, who I hadn't actually heard of before, Brad Thor, I hadn't heard of either. But these are people that sit within his genre. So the first thing I do is look at what their covers are like, and sort of go from there. So start to gather that reference, get a mood board together. That's going to pay you back. Yeah, so keep that mood board like front and center. I tend to open up, I won't say Photoshop's a dirty word for me these days, Adobe. I'm all in with Affinity, by the way, have been for a while now, and they've just released that new app that's free as well. So we've got no excuses, right? So jump on that. But anyway, yeah, if you're Adobe and you're Photoshop, all good, no problem. I'm not judging you. I did it for years. Anyway, I digress, that's another story. But yeah, get your mood board, keep that front and center. So start to put those images on there from the other covers of those authors in that genre, and straight over to ChatGPT. This is what I do. So I start asking ChatGPT. Let's call this point number 3. I start asking ChatGPT to give me prompts for mid-journey, and this is just purely for inspiration. Yeah, this isn't AI that's going to be used in the finished product or anything like that. What I'm looking for is a tone and a mood and some layout ideas and stuff like that. Okay, and it speeds up your process. So I asked ChatGPT to give me prompts for Mid-Journey, because it can quite often, it will give me stuff that I hadn't really thought about. So I'll say to it, you know, I want a guy standing on a rooftop looking down on a city, or something like that. It's in a thriller vibe, etc. You know, maybe it's psychological thriller you're doing, maybe it's a techno thriller, whatever it might be, a space opera, you know. But use chat to just chat to chat, right? Just, you know, almost brain dump, but ask it to give you these prompts for Mid-Journey, and then do that for a little while. Just get some images back from Mid-Journey. One thing I specifically ask ChatGPT not to do when it comes to these Mid-Journey prompts is to include text, because I don't want Mid-Journey, you know, if you've got the public version of Mid-Journey, you're not in like stealth mode or whatever they call it, so nobody can see what you're generating in Mid-Journey. I've just got a public version and whatnot. I don't want, obviously, the author's name or title of the book or anything out there. So I specifically say to Mid-Journey via chat or whatever, just no text. Don't want any text. It's just about imagery at this point, okay? So yeah, you can start to get some images there from Mid-Journey. And if you like them, you can download them and add them to your mood board. Next step 4, jump into your favorite stock image site. I use Envato Elements. I was with Deposit Photos for quite a while, but I've switched over now to Envato. But whatever you use, whether it's you know, Adobe stock or whatever it might be, iStock or whatever you can afford, right? I find Envato to be pretty affordable. So I think I'm paying about £16 a month or something. It's affordable and it kind of is giving me everything I need, and also it's got AI capabilities as well. So just for getting a tone and a mood going on, and some inspiration. Yeah, that's all we're talking about at this stage. But you're in your stock imagery site, and now you want to start making a collection of images based on you know, your research so far. So start collecting your character images, whether that's your guy in a long trench coat looking away, or whatever it might be, or a woman running towards the, you know, towards the reader, whatever the genre is, whatever you're working on. Obviously, I do a lot of sci-fi and thriller and fantasy books, so when you hear me talking about this stuff, generally it tends to be those kind of genres. So yeah, start to make a collection of elements, environments, characters, graphical elements if you need to, you know, weapons, whatever it might be, and start to pull that all together into a collection. And you don't need to start downloading at this stage unless you really want to, but if there's anything that's really grabbing you, think, yeah, I need that, yeah, just download it. I tend to get them as PNGs if I can, obviously with characters, no background, or I'll remove the background in Affinity, or even use like the background remover tool that Envato you can use now in Envato's thing. So yeah, that's where we're at. Step 5, jump back into ChatGPT and ask it for some good fonts, good font recommendations in your chosen genre. I've done this a few times. I mean, having done this for quite a while now, I know the fonts I like for the certain genres I work in, so I haven't got to do that too often. But it is nice every now and then, you know, talk to ChatGPT and just say, like, okay, have you got any suggestions for whatever it might be, if it's a techno thriller, romance, whatever it is you're doing, fantasy. And I have downloaded a few fonts recently for free from Google Fonts, and that's been really helpful. Once I've got my fonts and I'm happy, you know, and again, this is nothing's polished, nothing's set in stone at this point, but I'll start to lay out the title, the author name, there's a tagline if there is one, whether it's book 1, 2 or 3 in a series, whatever it might be. So I'll get that information, get that type into the cover, because, you know, obviously the artwork and the type have got to work well together. That's the whole point, right? So they have to work in synergy. So I like to get the type in there fast, and have that as it helps to inform the overall piece and helps to get that structure there already, you know, because obviously if I start creating the piece and I've got my character here and I've got, you know, something over here, there, and next thing you know, I'm finding it hard to shoehorn the text in or something like that. So it all works together. It can be a very organic process, the type, getting the type and the imagery working together. But I like to get the text in fairly early on and then see what kind of space I'm working with, because we're always thinking about say KDP and it being an ebook thumbnail, and we want the type to be big enough, you know, like people have got to read it at thumbnail size, right? So always have that in the front of your mind, that someone's going to be looking at this on their phone or whatever, they want to be able to read the title and read the author name. So bear that in mind. You want it, you know, big enough. You want your type big enough for it to be read as a thumbnail. Yeah, so you've got your type down, you've got your images in a collection, or you've downloaded some already, and just start laying out that cover. So let's just rewind a little bit. It's worth, I'd say, going to, and this is what I do, I go to KDP calculator, cover calculator, and if I've got a idea of how many pages the author's book's going to be, which is often in the questionnaire, sometimes they won't know, they won't have a clue, but 9 times out of 10 they've got an idea of how many pages it is, roughly 400 pages, 500, 600, whatever it might be. So I'll go to the KDP cover calculator and I'll download a PNG of that spec basically, and also, you know, is it a 6x9 inch book or is it a 5x8, and I'll download that template and I'll use that as my starting point in Affinity, meaning there I've got the front, I've obviously got the front cover, I've got the spine and the back cover, but quite often I will just design to the front cover. Yeah, I'll talk more about that in another video, about whether you need to go all the way across the whole of the paperback, if you like, or just stick to designing the front cover for now, kind of thing. I mean, again, we're just at concept stage, so quite often I'll just kind of focus on that front cover. I won't worry too much about the spine and the back cover just yet. I just want to get that front cover working, get a good concept going, so that I know, you know, that the author's going to be happy with. And then if it means I then have it cover the spine and the back cover, then I can think about that later. That's just how I like to work. Quite often the spine and the back cover will just be a colour for me, not always, but it'll be a dark colour or whatever it might be. So just backing up a little bit more, sometimes I'll have, or quite often what I'll do is once I've got that composition down, I'm starting to add a character in and the environment and maybe whatever elements I need, I'll put a black and white adjustment layer or effect layer over the top so that I can start to look at the values. So I've got if my character's in the foreground, usually they're going to be quite dark, maybe a silhouette, but not always a complete silhouette, but they'll be quite dark. Anything in the foreground is going to be darker than the background. So yeah, as you get more into the distance, things start to lose colour, they become less saturated and just blend in. And sometimes I'll use like a mist layer. I'll literally airbrush in Affinity or Procreate if I'm using it, a layer that's behind the protagonist or whoever's on the front cover there. So, and it'll just knock everything in the background back a bit. But I'll go into another video where we can get a bit technical. I just want to keep this as a sort of an overview for you to sort of get the ball rolling, but we can get into technical stuff in another video. So yeah, when you've got your kind of values roughly sorted out, you know, you've got your character maybe in the foreground who's dark, and you've got maybe something in the middle ground that's a bit less dark, and then as you go back, I like to then maybe use a gradient map to start to pull everything together, and it just adds drama as well to the whole scene, you know. And then I can't even remember up to now, step 8, 7, 8, whatever it might be, your final step at this point, for me, more or less final step in terms of the concept process, is a bit of a secret weapon that I use, and that's Snapseed. I love Snapseed, I've used it for years. It's an iPad app. I think you can get it, I'm not sure, I think it's iPad only, I believe. Don't quote me on that, I'm pretty sure it's iPad only. But I really love it. It's a great way to, it's got some fantastic effects in it, and it's really good for adding a bit of texture, a bit of grain, and just kind of balancing things out. There's so much you can do with it. It's basically filters, you know, you've got lots of filters and lots of things you can do and tweak. You don't have to go crazy with it though. I'd recommend that you don't. If ever you play around with Snapseed, just take your time, have a little bit of fun with it, but you don't have to go nuts. You know, it can really get some lovely results just with slight tweaks. It's like when you're adjusting, you know, you've got your saturation or your brightness, your contrast and stuff like that, but on a whole new level. I really love it. And then hopefully you've got a concept fairly quickly, whether you want to do 1 more or 2 more, depending on what the deal is with the client, you know, what your understanding is with the client. what you've said you're going to deliver. Yeah, you've got some rough concept there for them for you to then share with them, and yeah, get their feedback, and you can go from there. I hope this has been helpful. I know it's been super fast. I've kind of just torn through it, but I wanted to kind of do it while it was a bit fresh in my mind, having today literally just started a brand new cover, and yeah, just getting some traction with it quite quickly, which isn't like me. Usually things take a lot longer than they did today, but I don't know, maybe it's because it's nearly Christmas. The gods were in my favour a little bit today. But anyway, I'm not going to count my chickens, because I mean, the authors, I've already had feedback from the author saying he loves it, which is great. No doubt there'll be tweaks. I like to let it sit. I like to sit with the cover for a bit, let it digest a little bit, like come back to it with fresh eyes tomorrow. I'll probably come back tomorrow and go, oh, that's not working, or whatever it might be. And he might feel the same as well once he's sat with it for a little bit. He might have some comments and stuff. But anyway, I hope that helps. And yeah, go create some covers. See you next time.